please, I've just come back to my flat and the door was locked, so I crawled through the window and my flatmate's covered in blood in the bathroom. Oh my God, she's dead.
Viewer discretion is advised for this educational documentary. Welcome or welcome back to Dark Case Documentaries. I bring you true crime, disturbing stories and other things that you may later regret knowing with regular uploads every week. Please do join the quickly growing Dark Case family by hitting subscribe now and turning on notifications. Thank you so much to all of my patrons. If your name is on screen right now, then you're a legend. Our love and respect goes out to all those that knew and loved Alice and all those affected by this dark case. Alice Ruggles, who was born on Christmas Eve in 1991, was the second youngest of 4 children born to Clive Ruggles and Sue Hills. She enjoyed a close-knit relationship with her siblings as they grew up in Leicestershire, England, in the quiet village of Langton. By all accounts, Alice had a pretty idyllic childhood. It was filled with unconditional love from parents and a loving, fun-filled relationship with her siblings. With her quick wit, empathetic nature, as well as her outgoing personality, Alice made friends quickly. Her beautiful smile and joyful personality drew people in towards her. She was comfortable with being in the limelight since she was a natural entertainer. Alice was a young woman who enjoyed performing in school concerts. She had many interests and hobbies, and one of her favourites was fencing. This is a hobby she began doing at 11 years old. Her love of fencing led to spending time on a national fencing circuit, and this even influenced which university she selected at age 18. She attended uni in Northumbria, becoming captain of the fencing club. After graduation, Alice had no trouble finding a job that she loved, and her future really was looking bright. She moved into a flat on Rawling Road in Gateshead. It was a cosy home that she shared with a co-worker. Gateshead is an area known for its cultural diversity. It was an ideal place for a young, vibrant woman like Alice to be. With her natural beauty, sense of humour and friendliness, Alice was bound to attract a fair share of suitors. In October of 2015, Alice entered into a relationship with a man named Trimaan or Harry Dhillon. Dhillon was a soldier based at Penicuik, south of Edinburgh. This was about 120 miles away from where Alice lived. The two enjoyed their first weeks together in an online relationship. This was because, at that point, Dhillon was in Afghanistan for the military. In January of 2016, Alice and Dhillon met in person for the first time after their whirlwind online romance began. Dhillon was able to make the trip because he was on a short period of leave, and he then returned to the UK permanently in April of 2016. Shortly thereafter, Alice's friends began to notice changes in her behaviour. Alice lost weight and was no longer happy and outgoing. She became withdrawn and kept to herself. This was a stark contrast to her normal habits of socialising with others. Her family became concerned about how unhappy she appeared, and even her work performance was beginning to suffer. Alice's world had changed because of Dhillon's criticism of every aspect of her life. This included her appearance and her friends and family. He demanded that she focus all of her attention on him. Alice's friends and family became concerned with how Dhillon contacted her so frequently, and they could now see that he seemed to be in control of her every move. The relationship between the couple had a lot of ups and downs. Some days everything seemed great between the two of them, while other days were filled with problems and arguments. As their relationship continued, Dhillon often demanded to know what Alice was wearing. He wanted to know where she was going, and which people she would be seeing and when. If she didn't respond to his messages quickly enough for his liking, he would start contacting her friends and family, urging them to ask her to respond to him. Occasionally, Dhillon would drive almost 2 hours from his barracks just to show up unannounced at whatever place he knew Alice would be at. During this time, when Alice had become even more withdrawn, and as her friends were more and more worried about her, a woman reached out to Alice to tell her that Dhillon was on a dating website, and that he was pursuing other women romantically. As proof, this woman sent Alice screenshots of the messages that Dhillon had been sending to her. Alice quickly broke off her relationship with Dhillon when she heard of this infidelity. This, to all intents and purposes, was the perfect out. Dhillon, however, denied he was talking to other women. He even tried to make Alice feel guilty for not believing him. Despite his apparent relationships with other women, Dhillon was not prepared to let Alice go. With his control of Alice slipping away from him, he attempted to win her back. For weeks, he sent Alice a barrage of texts and emails. He called her relentlessly, and he even continued to speak with her friends and family. He sometimes sent her more than 100 messages a day. Occasionally, he was sobbing uncontrollably throughout the voice messages that he sent to her.
Alice, please. Please, I can't do it. Alice, please call me back. Please. I just want to speak to you. There's nothing else. I don't even know if you're getting these voice messages, but please, can you call me back? Thank you.
The tone of his messages often changed quickly. Some were contrite and begging, while others were hostile and menacing. The intent, however, was always the same. Dhillon wanted Alice back. No matter how many times he tried to contact her, Alice expressed no interest in rekindling her relationship with her ex-boyfriend. In the beginning, she tried to politely let him know that she had moved on. But after the messages escalated, Alice began ignoring Dhillon's calls and texts. His obsession with Alice continued, however. He hacked into her social media accounts. This was so that he could keep track of where she was and who she might be talking with at any given moment. When Dhillon learned that Alice had started a new relationship with another man, he tried to sabotage it by contacting her new love interest and lying about her. It's unknown if these lies worked. The stalking continued, however, and on September the 30th of 2016, Dhillon went to Alice's home, ringing the doorbell numerous times. When she looked through the peephole and saw him standing there, she decided not to answer. Eventually, though, he went to the back garden of Alice's ground floor flat. He then began knocking on the back window. After opening the curtain, she saw Dhillon walking away. He had left behind chocolates and flowers, especially for her. While he made the trip home, he left another message for her. In this message, he said,
"After we spoke and you didn't want to speak, well, you didn't want to call me again, so that's why I decided to come down. Give you flowers and chocolates. Now I'm on my way back. If you want to take it, you can take it. If you want to bin it, you can bin it. It's completely up to you. I just wanted to do something just to say I'm sorry and show that I really am sorry. And yeah, that's the least I could have done. But I know you're not going to come out in front of me and speak to me, so that's why I left it there. If you ever want to speak to me, it'll be good. If you don't, there's nothing I can do. Anyways, sorry for waking you up. Hope you have a good night's sleep. Bye."
That scary message prompted Alice to reach out to Northumbria Police.
Evening, Northumbria Police. Chris, how can I help you?
Hi there. I just need a bit of advice, really, more than anything. So I split up with my boyfriend about 3 months ago. Since then, I know that he's hacked into my Facebook and also my phone. He's been sending me a lot of messages, even though I've asked him not to contact me. And basically, like, just messaging my friends and things. And then tonight, he's, well, I had a knock at my door. And, well, he'd sent me a message saying, "I've been in the garden since 5. I had a knock at my door. And then when I went and looked, I've got like a little, the thing that you can look through. And there was no one there, and then it happened again 2 or 3 times. And then he's come round the back, knocked on my bedroom window at the back of my flat, it's the ground floor flat. He's been outside and he's like left some flowers and chocolates on the like outside windowsill, and like he walked off. He's not done anything, but I'm concerned. I've been putting off, like my friends have been telling me to call the police. I've been putting it off, but I just feel a bit like shaken up tonight. So
well, it can be classed as harassment.
Yeah.
Which is a crime.
Yeah.
If you do any contact from him, there's a number of things you can do.
Yeah.
You could go to a solicitor and take out an injunction.
Yeah.
Keep him away from you.
Yeah.
Or report it directly to the police now, and we can issue him with a PIN notice, which means if he ever comes near you again or contacts again, he'll be arrested.
Okay.
So which would you prefer?
Can I try that option, please?
Yeah, of course you can. And your name, please?
Oh, sorry, it's Alice.
And what's he called?
Well, his name's Harry Dhillon, but he's got like a Sikh name, which is Trimaan. He lives in Edinburgh.
He lives in Edinburgh.
Yeah. So he's like driven down.
So he's constantly contacting you by phone or text or?
Yeah, well, I've blocked his number. He's got 2 phones. I've blocked both numbers. So he's been sending me Gmail messages. I haven't blocked him off Gmail because I don't want him to start emailing my work email. Then he's also made a fake Snapchat account to try and contact me on.
We'll need to get the Edinburgh police to go and serve him with a PIN notice.
Okay.
But, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if we can make an appointment to come and see you.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
We'll get the details.
Thank you.
Alice seemed almost embarrassed to contact the police about the behaviour of an ex-boyfriend. While a police information notice may sound intimidating, it carries essentially no consequences if broken. They are handed out to people who police believe may have done something wrong, but something that they can't be arrested for, such as allegations of harassment. But the fact that Dhillon would be told by the police to stop contacting her did give Alice a sense of comfort. She believed her ordeal might finally be ending, and now she could finally get on with her new life without her ex-boyfriend pursuing her. Dhillon, who was still living at the military barracks near Edinburgh, was contacted on October the 3rd by the police about the police information notice. However, he wasn't arrested nor was he detained. While the police did speak with Dhillon's superior, they did not contact the police in Scotland or the military police. Several people who knew Dhillon and had heard about the police information notice told him to stop all contact with Alice. But instead of listening to that advice given by his colleagues, within days, Dhillon sent Alice a package containing a letter and other items that reminded him of her. In the letter, Dhillon said he would no longer be in Alice's life. It turns out the police information notice hadn't seemed to discourage Dhillon from contacting Alice. Instead, it appeared to have made him angry. When Alice received the letter, some of her loved ones urged her to contact the police again, to tell them that the contact and harassment hadn't stopped. So Alice contacted the police for a second time.
Sorry, good evening, Northumbria Police. Jeff speaking. How can I help?
Hi there. Yeah, I've been in touch with the police. Somebody's been issued with a PIN so that they can't contact me. However, I've had a letter off them.
So you're reporting like the breach of the PIN?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was it from?
Harry Dhillon.
What was the content of the letter? Was he?
So pictures of me and him, because he's my ex-boyfriend, so like a notebook that I'd sent him when we were together and a letter.
Okay, what was the nature of it? Was it like threatening or was it harassing? Or?
No, not threatening. It's just saying that he knows I called the police on him and he's had everything confiscated and all he has to himself is a pen and paper and an iPod, and explaining why he came down last Friday. And then it says at the bottom he won't contact me, this will be the last I hear from him, but he's said that a lot of times and he never does seem to stop.
So do you want to call back to discuss this?
Yeah, what's usually what happens with it?
Okay, well, I'll let them know you want someone to contact you back, just discuss what can be done.
Okay. Will it be the police officer that's been dealing with my case?
I can't guarantee who it'll be. I'll let them know you've got your pin notice there, so it's going into a breach of it.
Okay.
Is the best time to phone you back?
Any time really will be fine.
The police call handler asked Alice to determine whether she wanted the police to arrest Dhillon. This was instead of automatically arresting him for contacting her again, even after he had disregarded the instructions of the police information notice. Trying to be a nice person and not wanting to ruin Dhillon's career, Alice said that she didn't want to have him arrested. She later made a comment to a loved one that she was palmed off by the authorities. Alice was frightened and convinced that Dhillon would continue to stalk her. She thought there was nothing anyone could do to prevent it. To try and protect herself, Alice began taking precautions. She would have a work colleague drive her home every day, and then she would lock her door as soon as she entered her flat. On October the 12th, 2016, Dhillon made the long drive to Alice's flat and parked near it, sitting there. He was simply biding his time until she returned. As he sat, he sent messages to another woman he was trying to meet up with later that same night. After Alice had returned, Dhillon entered her flat by breaking into a rear window at around 6 p.m. He grabbed a sharp implement from her kitchen and cornered Alice in the bathroom. Alice fought valiantly for her life against this trained soldier. But ultimately, Dhillon used the sharp implement against Alice, and there in her own flat, she drew her final breath. An amazing and promising life cut short in an instant. Dhillon fled from the scene, and Alice was found deceased a short time later by her flatmate, Maxine. Maxine immediately contacted the Northumbria police to tell them what had happened to Alice. This is part of that real call.
Please, I've just come back to my flat and the door was locked, so I crawled through the window and my flatmate's covered in blood in the bathroom.
Is she breathing?
I don't know, I can't look, I'm sorry.
Okay, try and stay calm.
Alice! 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 Oh my God, she's dead.
And yet the door was open?
No, it wasn't open, it was locked, and I've crawled through my window that was open in the back door, and she's lying covered in blood. She's blue.
Can you have a look and see if she's breathing for the ambulance?
She's not.
She's not breathing?
No, she looks, no.
Where's the blood from?
It's everywhere, I don't know, her leg looks broken, everything.
Say that again, sorry.
Her leg looks broken, everything, I don't know. Alice,
how much blood is there?
There's lots, it's everywhere. It looks like she was in the shower, everything's been knocked over, it looks like she's been attacked. Please help.
Things have been tipped over in the bathroom.
Yes, and everything looks a mess, like she's not breathing, she's actually blue, please. I mean, knew this was coming, an ex is an absolute psychopath.
Say that again, sorry.
She's put in a complaint in about her ex, and she phoned 101 at the weekend to report that he's tried to get in contact, and he says we're going to do nothing, now this has happened.
Right, who tried to contact her at the weekend?
No, she's contacted 101 because she put in a statement about him 2 weeks ago. And
about who?
Her ex-boyfriend, Harry Dhillon.
Right, so have she been having problems with her ex?
Yes.
So do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, I can hear the police are coming.
Yeah, they've seen her at scene. I'll wait with you until they're actually with you.
Thanks to Alice's prior calls to the police about Dhillon's troubling behaviour and the additional information that was supplied by flatmate Maxine, the police quickly zoomed in on Dhillon as a main person of interest. The police began searching for him right away. They found him just a few hours later after the attack. When he was located, he was trying to leave his barracks by scaling a wall. This was even though he claimed to know nothing of Alice's passings when he was found. The investigation into the incident, however, told a very different story to his. A medical examination revealed Alice's body had many bruises, as well as wounds located on her hands. These were determined to be from her trying to defend herself, bravely fighting for her life. In addition, forensic evidence tied Dhillon to the scene. Alice's blood was found on the steering wheel of his car and on his bracelet. Dhillon's story quickly changed when he realised there was a lot of evidence against him. Evidence that linked him to the scene, and evidence that he had repeatedly threatened Alice. Even with the evidence mounting against him, Dhillon was still determined to dodge any blame for the crime during his trial.
Alice Ruggles was found at her home address in Gateshead and she'd been murdered. Okay. Did you murder Alice?
No, I did not murder Alice.
Do you have any knowledge of this?
No, I don't have any knowledge of this.
Were you present when this murder occurred?
No, I wasn't.
I've been told exactly what happened to her. And how you cut her throat.
No comment.
Are you looking back? Are you? Do you remember what happened?
No comment.
Do you remember what you did? Do you remember how bad it was? Do you remember the blood spraying? I'm being told that you suffered. She must have known what was happening. Because she didn't die straight away.
You've got 4 tiny little scratches on your face. Her throat is slit open through the voice box.
Sat you for 2 days, showing no remorse whatsoever.
You said you loved her. You didn't love her. You thought if you can't have her, no one else can have her. That's exactly what you thought, because she doesn't want you. Is that the truth?
No comment.
Why are you no commenting now? Because you're guilty. How can you do that to someone you love? Because you're jealous, possessive, controlling, stalker, murderer.
He concocted an unlikely scenario to avoid spending any time in prison. He said that she threatened him with a sharp implement, and she was therefore accidentally cut by it when they were arguing. But the forensic evidence did not support Dhillon's versions of the events, especially when it was factored in that he was much taller and heavier than she was. It was also determined that Alice had 24 injuries on her body. Further evidence showed Dhillon's footmark on the bathroom door. This was an indication that he had fought his way into the bathroom where Alice was hiding from him. In his court trial, Dhillon did not display any emotion about Alice's passing. Other evidence came to light which cast doubt on Dhillon's tale. It came out during the trial that he had driven to Alice's house on October the 10th, and whilst there he had taken a picture of the bathroom window at the back of her flat. That showed the jury that he had ill intent towards Alice, and that he had planned his actions ahead of time. The jury also learned that Alice wasn't the first person that Dhillon had stalked and verbally harassed. Before he began dating Alice, he dated a woman named Nico Nemeth. When she broke things off with him, he tracked her down. He spat at her and called her degrading names. The police were subsequently notified, and Dhillon received a restraining order. This required him to stay away from Nemeth for 1 year. Unfortunately, Alice had known nothing about Dhillon's inability to move on. His romantic relationships ended, but he refused to accept it. Alice didn't know that Dhillon had handled rejection so badly in the past that another woman was forced to protect herself against him. In the end, the jury didn't believe Dhillon's story about Alice allegedly attacking him. Although the guilty verdict was a big relief to Alice's parents and other family members, they realised that there were other women who were dealing with situations like Alice had. Looking back to their first meeting with Dhillon, her parents said that they saw nothing in his behaviour that would have suggested he would later become violent towards their daughter. They also understood that their daughter may have survived if police officers did more to help women who are being stalked. While they couldn't bring Alice back, they hoped they could implement changes that could someday save other young women. Working with the police, they helped develop a protocol for processing stalking and harassment allegations. Alice's parents started a trust in which they could teach others about the threat of stalking and help other women who may be in danger. Dhillon was found guilty and he was sentenced to a minimum of 22 years in prison. Do you think the punishment fits the crime here? What do you think could be done to avoid something like this happening again in the future? Please do let me know down in the comments. If you appreciate what I'm doing here, please do hit that like button. Be careful out there, and I'll see you soon.